Let's get into it, guys. I'm ready. Welcome to Light Whispers, a podcast where soft truths rekindle the radiance within. From the depths of the psyche to sacred ceremony, from ancient myths to spiritual insights, we remember together one story at a time. I am your host, Lumi. Let's embark on the journey of remembrance. Welcome to the first episode of Light Whispers. I am so excited to be here. Of course, a tiny bit, very much nervous. It's been quite an overwhelming short season since I was giving the humbling news that I could finally start my journey towards becoming an officially sponsored HR Live host. I have felt all the emotions, but the strongest of all, I have to say, has been immense gratitude. Today, though, I will say nervousness. To be given this opportunity to share my voice, my story, to have a platform where I'm allowed to do that, to be sponsored by this virtual world we find ourselves living in and day out, at least many of us. That is truly a huge honor for me. I don't take this for granted. Your presence as well, I don't take that for granted either. I'm very grateful for your presence in this space, and on top of that, I have the most incredible mentors, specifically my personal mentor, Rex Nuggies, who you might already know. She's dancing on top of the mushroom. Truly the cherry on top. And big shout out to her, Noel Sage, and to Nexus Studios, who has given me the confidence to actually do this in the first place, who has guided me along this first wave of preparation for my podcast, for keeping me sane, and giving me feedback and lots of great advice. It's a really vulnerable thing to share your voice and story out in public, but I know this is my soul calling, so I choose courage in this season. A big thank you as well to HR Live for sponsoring this podcast event. They have given me quite a lot of live loot to give away today, so to get my nerves out of the way, maybe we can start with a little contest. Let's do 2 codes of 77 live loot. I want to make this quick and fun. If you've already found your comfy spot, let's maybe get some emojis spammed to give us an energy boost. Lila, would you mind giving us 3 emojis for people to spam? If you look at on my left side here, she'll give you 3 emojis that you can copy paste, or if you're on PC, you type out sparkle, tree, and fox. Now let's start spamming, and I'll pick a winner. Let me close my eyes, and I'm gonna choose this one. Who is that? Intermatted is the first winner of tonight. And all codes will be sent out at the end of the event, or after the end of the event. Perfect, we got it. Now keep spamming, and I'll choose another one. More, sparkle, tree, and fox. Okay, closing my eyes. And this one. Manta Lover. Second winner of the 77 live loot. We got it. I love it. The energy is high. The nerves are, going away a little bit, slowly but surely. There's also a raffle, which the bot is so kindly giving out the information about. My moderators will also remind you, and I will give you a little bit of a reminder very soon. Another way to leave this event with some live loot is by taking a picture of yourself in this room, perhaps in one of the fits you make throughout this event, or another outfit you like to show off, using the hashtags Light Whispers and HR Live. The winner of the hashtag goes home with 333 live loot, which I have written 77 for my moderators. I apologize. it's gonna be one winner of 333 live loot. And the winner of the hashtag will be announced at the end of this event. All right, let's just bring it all right away. I want to do our first theme for tonight as well. I'd like to see this room transformed into something magical. The first theme for tonight, where 3 of you have the chance to win 77 live loot, should be a mythological outfit. I see many of you have already come prepared, but if you want to change it up a little bit, you have time to do that now. I will announce the winners in the next break. If you forget the theme or the hashtags to use if you take the picture, don't worry, my wonderful moderators will send out reminders throughout the event. Good luck. Okay, a little sip of my drink. I think it's really beautiful that my first episode starts just as we have moved into a new Hebrew month, which is the calendar I mainly follow along with the standard Gregorian calendar. So I thought before starting this episode, I would bring a bit of the wisdom of this new month into the space and bring some gratitude to this synchronicity that dawned on me yesterday. Before I do that, I just want to remind you again that information about the raffle and other ways to win live loot is going to come with reminders throughout, but also my moderators and the bot gives out the information. If you're not familiar with the Hebrew calendar, let me give a short explanation of the difference between that and the calendar most of you are familiar with. Unlike the Gregorian calendar most of us use every day, which is based purely on the sun, the Hebrew calendar is a blend of both the moon and the sun. Each new Hebrew month begins with the new moon, and every so often an extra month is added to stay in sync with the solar year. It's a rhythm that reflects both celestial movement and spiritual alignment. We're currently in the month called Sivan, which actually lands in May or June. The name Sivan doesn't appear in the Torah itself, the books of Moses, but comes from later Jewish tradition, particularly during the Babylonian exile. What I've learned is that it's likely of Akkadian origin, Akkad being in modern-day Iraq, and most scholars believe it means something like season or appointed time. So you could say Sivan is telling us that the time is now. Isn't that neat? Just as I begin this new podcast, I am also shown that the time truly is now. These moments make my life feel extra magical. I feel really in tune with nature, earth, everything around me when I see these connections in my life. And Sivan offers a universal theme regardless of whether you follow that calendar or not, like receiving wisdom, listening deeply, and finding clarity in your voice. Again, this synchronicity just blew my mind last night as I read about it. I felt really connected to the big weaver of this universe as I read about this and realized what incredible timing this all aligned with. In mystical traditions like Kabbalah, each month is associated with a tribe, a sense, and a spiritual energy. Sivan is linked to the tribe of Zebulun, known for journeying and trade. Not just physical trade, but also the spiritual kind. The exchange of thoughts, insights, and perspectives. You see that? That's amazing to me. I can't wait to see the insights and thoughts you guys share with me and all of us in here. It's also connected to the sense of walking, moving forward both literally and metaphorically. So even if this is all new to you, here's something to reflect on as we enter the moon cycle of Sivan. What wisdom is ready to arrive in your life through stillness or through movement? Can you listen for it, not with your ears, but with your heart? This moon cycle invites us to step forward lightly, but intentionally, to open to new truths and to carry them with grace. New moon, new steps. Such a beautiful reminder. Do you feel aligned with any of that? Can you see some synchronicities the last couple of days with what I just shared? I just know I saw a lot of what I'm going through these days in this month's message. It's really stunning. Thank you for all the boosts, by the way. I appreciate it. All right, I wanted to end that segment here, but This morning I pulled a card from one of my favorite decks, the Rumi Oracle. I'm not going to read the whole card as it's quite long, but I did want to read the poem from Rumi as well as a paragraph that stood out to me. Again, a synchronicity that almost brought tears to my eyes this morning. Here's the poem. Oh, you living in the world of 6 directions, accept the gloom and accept the bliss, for those seeds buried in the ground will one day grow into fruitful orchards. Orchards? English is not my first language. Seeds. You'll see why this touched me in just a minute. Here's the paragraph that stood out to me as well. There is a gift headed to you now. Will you receive it? That gift is one of manifestation, something you have been working towards, growing into, loving and dreaming for, perhaps for a very long time, is finally coming to fruition. As you listen to what I have written over the past weeks in this episode, you'll see why this stood out to me. This is what makes me feel like I'm not doing these things on my own. Something bigger than myself is behind the scenes, paving a path before me. That's ultimately what gives me peace, even in the nervousness and sometimes fear. Okay, guys, this podcast has been growing in my soul womb, as I call it, which is just a more mystical way of saying that this idea, this podcast, has been developing deep within me, nurtured quietly over time like a seed growing in the dark before it's ready to emerge into the light. And it has been growing for quite some time, many years in fact, way before I even knew of High Rise or what this platform could provide for my vision to eventually be realized. But when I joined High Rise, I do remember that there was this very silent whisper within me that told me this was going to be the platform for something big to happen. I just had to learn how to navigate this virtual world first, as we always have to with all worlds we take residence in, both internally and externally. I even tried to start a podcast before. I believe I was able to share 2 or 3 episodes if we count the intro. It's still out there and I'm proud of myself for that, but I think I knew that I wasn't going to be consistent because I have this tendency to show up when I feel a high, where I know exactly what to say and do, where things flow out of me naturally, but then this other, much stronger part of me gets overwhelmed by how much I showed up in the world and hides away again. I have this tendency to avoid, hide, and isolate when things get overwhelming. Do any of you feel the same way? Yeah, Dapper Dubs. I'm definitely not alone in that. I know that for sure. It's terrifying. To be truly seen vulnerably, I can get super overwhelmed. This is overwhelming for me, but I just decided to break that pattern in my life and dare to be seen more than ever before, because others showing up is what inspires me to. So perhaps I can likewise inspire others as well by doing the same thing. Having a group around me that holds me accountable this time around is also a huge help that I didn't have before, so I am learning not to hide this time. And future me is excited to meet current me, I can feel that, and I'm ready to meet her too. Yet, I can't pretend that showing up the way I intend to on this podcast isn't freaking me out a little bit, but this time around I feel equipped to navigate whatever it may bring to the surface within myself. I can tell that things are happening within me that is also manifesting physically. My tonsils have been a bit iffy these days. I can feel some mild symptoms of the flu. Thankfully today I'm feeling a bit better, but these things can be really activating, especially when it has to do with using your voice. So I am reminding myself to rest and take care of myself a little bit more these days. Because now that I've not only learned a lot more about myself, brought in more awareness, I have so many more tools that support me. I know how to check in and give myself what I need. But I also have the stability of being surrounded by amazing friends, many of you who are here today, mentors, Rex Nuggies and Noel Sage, and last but certainly not least, my incredibly supportive husband who is in the background. Things feel very, very different this time around, so alongside my internal friend, fear, who is now always welcome to show up without being silenced or rushed away, but not to linger too long. I also feel the presence of excitement, confidence, and inspiration. I've been waiting for this moment for years with excitement and deep desire, preparing myself, emptying myself of what stands in my own way and no longer serves me. Again, exactly the card's message today, which was really beautiful. Allowing myself to be filled with what comes from above rather than my own forced ideas. I know that while I'm taking the steps, doing the thing, being brave, this is also much bigger than myself, and that is what keeps me humble and grounded and at peace knowing I'm not doing this on my own. I truly believe that we are all here to birth into this world something beautiful and impactful, something that makes this world a bit more magical and hopefully a whole lot lighter. So this is Light Whispers, my baby. And the name is a sneaky little play on words. They are whispers that feel light on the soul, and at the same time, whispers of radiant light. Light whispers or light whispers. Okay. You might have seen the raffle message from my bot, but in case you missed it, here's how to join. There's a tip jar right above me in the pond behind me. To enter, all you have to do is tip the jar 100 gold, so you can write a short little comment. And what I would love to know is this: what's a practice that helps you return to yourself? I love hearing about practical, simple things people do to bring their presence back home internally when things go a bit wild. I myself really love music and dancing. That helps me a lot to release and stay grounded. Also, this little bird sound and fire crackling is definitely helping me right now. And perhaps you can inspire me to try some new things. I'll be reading through as many answers as possible at the end, as well as choosing the winner of today. And 2 of you will have a chance of winning 333 live loot tokens in the raffle. At the very end of this event, I will also let the bot choose one random winner in the room to win the whole May bundle, which is soon leaving us to be replaced with the April bundle. Anyone into this month's space team? I definitely grabbed a few of those items. Yeah, so if you stay till the end, you might just be the winner. Now let's dive back in, shall we? So, how did this seed even get planted within me in the first place? To answer that, we have to start from the very beginning, which is only a few years ago, during the summer of 2018. I was living in Oslo, which is the capital of Norway. Very, very intense place. Let me get a little sippy sip. And I drink very loudly, so you're probably going to hear my gulps. Oslo. Energy and stress levels are really high. And if you're sensitive like myself, you feel it. And it can become quite exhausting. At the same time, I felt like I had hit a wall in my own life, feeling stagnant, like something wasn't right. I was working at an office job that I managed really well, something I'm really good at, but it took everything out of me. Once I came home, I mustered up the last bits of energy I had left to make myself dinner. And then I would just lay in bed watching Netflix for the rest of the evening until I fell asleep. A desperate attempt to distract myself from the intense chronic pain I was dealing with back then, which often also resulted in pretty intense migraines. The work environment wasn't healthy either, which took a toll on me mentally, and that affected me even further physically. My chronic pain and migraines were a mystery to me back then. I didn't really know what to do with it. Nobody could provide me answers. And while I knew I was in a lot of pain, I had no idea how much pain I was truly in. That was something that was actually made clear to me as I started my physical therapy in early 2023. But to paint a picture for you on how it felt to me back then, my body was so flared that just wearing regular headphones on my head would trigger a migraine. Even smiling and laughing too much in a day would trigger my migraines because my jaw was so tense and irritated. And it was unbearable at that point, which led to constant seasons of depression, especially around winter time, which is quite rough in Norway. I was desperate and incredibly confused, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I thought to myself, this is not worth it. Life cannot just be this every day. Well, I didn't actually understand the layers and depth of what I was dealing with and why. With all the pain and mental turmoil, I did hear that tiny whisper back then. I knew I had to do something to figure out what was going on with me, so I made a choice. I saved up a good amount of money as quickly as I could. I even moved back home for a month to save that month's rent money, thanks to my mom. And eventually I quit my job, packed my things, and I headed for what I thought would be a travel around the world, which was a longing I felt so strongly in my heart. I've been binge watching those backpacker and travel YouTube channels. You've probably seen some of them. And I would cry often at how much I wanted the same life. It felt like freedom. I really thought I would be one of those backpackers that made a living by making my macrame jewelry and helping out in some hostel or communal living space for a bed and perhaps even my own bedroom if I was lucky. I thought to myself back then that I would be content with that type of life and that it would be the answer to my problems. I envisioned that so clearly and vividly. I had such faith in that type of life helping me with my pain because my experience with going on vacation was that I felt better, at least I thought so. So I spent 6 months in America in a community with friends I had made the year before, which was really great. And then I began the part of my journey where I planned to stay shorter amount of times in different countries. But after visiting Bahamas, which was so beautiful and a pleasure to my taste buds, and then Cuba, which was quite sad actually, as I was faced with a very divided culture of poor versus rich, which in that case was me, despite not even owning much myself, but that's perspective, and quite a humbling one actually. And lastly, Barcelona, which as a city girl, I gotta be honest, I didn't really enjoy much, despite it being so many people's favorite place in Europe. But that is when I eventually found myself planted in the very rich, stunning, yet confronting and tough atmosphere of Morocco, with the clear message of stay here, grow roots. I didn't really understand it, but I trusted it. I recognized that whisper again, and I knew I had to trust this unexpected change in my plans. By then, I had learned that while I plan, I always remain flexible to changes, and flexible I had to be. 2 plane tickets out the window, and no idea what to do next. I stayed. I went to a nomad festival in the Saharan desert near the border of Algeria in a small village, and that was actually what made me initially decide to stay at least a week longer because there was no way I was missing out on that experience. But that was just the first step in realizing, girl, you're staying. I ended up spending almost a month in that desert village, a village I later returned to and which I consider a sanctuary of death and resurrection, as dramatic as that sounds, as well as a home away from home. I even attended a few more festivals there and became friends with families that trusted me enough to watch their children during the day. Children I pray for and look forward to meeting one day, if the path leads me back there. Then I headed to a coastal village where I spent even more time, and that's when a very unexpected, challenging, heart-shattering, soul-peeling, intense journey began, which I would love to share more about in a later episode if that is something that intrigues you. For this episode though, we will not have enough time, because I could write a whole book about that season in my life, and in fact, I might maybe have started that book, and maybe I'll finish it one day. Okay, let's take a little pause. I want to read some comments. It's kind of hard to read comments and, stick to it, but I'm so curious. I see you guys eating the plants. Wonderful, wonderful. Just leave some of them behind, please. Yes, Bahamas is stunning. I love the fits that are coming out. Love, 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 love it. You're eating this whole room? All right. Well, what can I do? Have you ever changed your entire plan last minute and just trusted it? Maybe you had that little whisper or gut feeling that changed your path. Yeah. It can be exciting, it can be terrifying, but it can be really exciting. It's how you ended up in Houston. I did go to Cuba, yeah, you're right in hearing that. I went to Cuba. Cuba? I don't even know how to say it. 1 week. It was a little bit hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. But it was nice. That's country. Oh, bless. When I went outside the city, it was really stunning. The beach, oh, beautiful. All right, so my passion for jewelry making came to an end very quickly. I realized I didn't actually want to do that, and thanks to my savings, I didn't have to for some time. But I did try to work for a place to stay, just to prolong my savings as much as possible, but whenever I got a good deal, I thought, it ended almost as quickly as it started for really bizarre reasons. So instead of fighting what seemed to be not meant for me, I returned to the desert and found a small mud hut for myself, which I stayed in for a few months, and later a coastal rooftop studio apartment, which was stunning. And I spent all those years diving within myself, peeling layers of who I wasn't, discovering more of who I truly was and am, which is a process that never ends, and reconnecting within. It's from these years of dying to myself, going through what many call the dark night of the soul, which I'll explain in a minute, waves of self-realization and introspection, almost obsessively studying the psyche, connecting to the mystical, diving fearlessly into the deep waters of my soul, and discovering glimpses of my true path. That's when I finally felt another soft whisper within, nudging me to share my journey with others. There it was, the tiny seed finally planted within me. And now you're witnessing it begin to bloom. Along the way, I did share parts of my journey individually or in group settings, and I was often told that I should start a podcast. Very humbling to hear people ask for that. It still is, as I do hear that from time to time, and the continual reminder of that whisper within, that honestly is no longer really a whisper. It's quite loud at this point. And even if I tried or wanted to, which I don't, I would not be able to escape it. Back then, I knew this was the continued whispers of my soul, and I also knew it would be something that unfolded naturally when the time was right. Because I really had no clue what to do or how to do it. Even if I started then, how, where, why, things just didn't seem to click, and it all felt so overwhelming to me. Hence me starting a podcast I quickly also abandoned. Until now. The time really seems to be now, which is what this month of Sivan reminds us of, but I wrote these notes and chose these exact words, the time is now, weeks ago. That synchronicity just continues to baffle me, and sometimes I'm almost in disbelief when these moments happen in my life, but that is the magic that continues to unfold the more I walk this path of mine, following the whispers, like when you see 111 on the microwave or 444 on someone's license plate. I know this moment is right because I didn't force this podcast. It happened like I knew it would, naturally, effortlessly, in a flow with the universe and with the great orchestrator, the Great Spirit himself. This is how Light Whispers was finally birthed into the world in a much more peculiar way than I could ever imagine, namely, in a virtual world and game called High Rise. So the dark night of the soul, to those who don't know, is, I quote, a phase of passive purification and the mystical development of the individual's spirit, according to the 16th century Spanish mystic and Catholic poet Saint John of the Cross. It's often used today to symbolize both that and something that feels like a death to the self, mask ripped off, and you're kind of faced with the reality of what hides beneath them, which is, you. Have you ever experienced something that felt kind of like that before? For sure, yeah. It can be quite the ride. Roller coaster, absolutely. Sometimes I think a roller coaster would be more relaxing. So, that explains a bit of the lore behind Light Whispers. And while I share my different journeys, personal stories, and what I have learned along the way with you, my desire for this space and podcast is to create an environment where you can safely explore worlds within your own psyche and mind, to be gently moved by the whispers of your own soul, to feel the light within you kindled, to hopefully feel inspired to courageously continue on your own path, and to perhaps learn something new and sometimes feel less alone, and to leave feeling that this world, not in spite of its darkness, but somehow within it, can still be profoundly magical. By laying my soul out before you vulnerably, it is not to bring attention to myself, but rather to the wonders of this world. My story, as different as it will be to yours, can still bring a sense of remembrance within you, a soft stirring that says, I felt something like that too. That's the power of storytelling. When one voice speaks its truth, it echoes quietly in the hearts of others, awakening truths they may have forgotten, buried, or never dared to name. My hope is that as I share, you feel invited to be more fully yourself, even if even one part of my journey helps you reconnect with your own inner knowing, your resilience, your radiance, then this seed has already begun to bloom in more than one heart. With that being said, we have now landed after quite the introduction. I just need to pause and breathe for a moment because that was a lot for me, and perhaps also for you. If so, you can take a moment and just remind yourself that you are here, you're present, you're safe, and you are also exactly where you're meant to be. Before we continue, I think it's time to announce our first theme winners. I see so many stunning creations, and I do believe we have 3 winners already. Give me a little bit of time, please. Let's see. All right, my moderators being so helpful. We have one first winner. Let's write it out so I can actually read it to the best of my ability. I would like to see some drum rolls in the chat. Where are the drum rolls? I see some computer users like myself. First winner of the theme is Ashes Burns. Congratulations. Beautiful outfit. Those antlers are some of my favorite items in this game. Perfect. One more. Let's look. More drum rolls, please. Second winner is Kens_OXO. Beautiful. I see you up there, sparkly, glowy. Kind of look like the moon in the pond. And the last one to win 77 livelihood tokens is, and I immediately forgot the name. Let's write it out. Drum rolls. Worey, I believe. Worei. Congratulations. Don't forget about the raffle. And make sure to show off your stunning outfit, not only in the room, but to the community using the hashtags LightWhispers and HRLive. Okay, we have one last theme for tonight. This time I would like to see us all blend into the room. Let's see your best plant outfit that makes you look like another part of this forest grove that my amazing builder Heckalux has built for me. If you ever need a builder, she is amazing. She is not here with us, but there is her username in case you need one. 3 more winners will be announced towards the end. Have fun. Another little sippy sip. All right, with the introduction now completed, let's go even further back in time. I've talked about the why of this podcast and how it came to be, but let's talk about the what, since this is the introduction episode. What am I going to be talking about? What do I want to get into with you? Where is this path going to lead us? Well, the last question is one I prefer not to answer because plans always change, but I trust the path before us and I am excited to venture it together with you. Ever since I was a tiny little fairy girl, I was immensely curious. I asked my dad why so often. I think he went crazy more than once, but I really just wanted to know pretty much everything, and I thought my dad would know it all. And I mean, he did know a lot. I was also naturally drawn to the mystical, like fairies, elves, and forest creatures. Probably no surprise there. I used to roleplay Elf Quest. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. And I did that with my childhood best friend. We were climbing trees, making leaf huts, getting into character. I also spent most of my day in this magical land created by the imaginations of my mind, whether expressed outwardly or kept right there in a constant state of daydreaming. I asked questions like what the meaning of life was early on in primary school, which, thinking back on it now, makes me laugh. Maybe a little bit too early for an existential crisis. But I often felt quite out of place in the world. I remember some of the kids weren't the nicest, and I didn't even understand the purpose of their behavior. I found it super bizarre. I had friends, so I moved on and left the unanswered questions of peculiar human behavior alone until later in life when this became a passion of mine. I also, unfortunately, learned the story of putting everyone before me quite early in life, needing to please others even at the expense of my own boundaries, like hugging family members even if I felt uncomfortable or overstimulated that day, not knowing how to express that, talking with friends of the family even though I really just wanted to hide, always making sure people around me were pleased to the point where I had no more energy or capacity for my own needs. I didn't really know what my needs were in the first place, as that was never given attention. I don't blame anyone for that or hold on to any grudges or bitterness, because we can only teach what we ourselves have learned at the end of the day. So, my childhood was filled with joy and wonder, and my parents were wonderful, and they still are, but it was also lacking what a child needs. I was not taught how to self-regulate, calm my nervous system, understand my emotions and internal sensations, nor given much comfort when experienced the wide range of these emotions, as perhaps it was equally as scary to those around me as it was for me to experience. Emotions can definitely be very confronting and uncomfortable. All of this led to a long season struggling with codependency and people-pleasing, all the way into my late 20s. This is where my personal journey began. Let's do a little boosty boost. I'm so hyper-focused, I forget about all these other little things. Whoops. So this is where my personal journey began. The realization that I was unaware of my own needs, incapable of setting boundaries, which meant I had none, and struggling to regulate or understand my own emotions. That is what led me into this path. Now, sprinkle in a bit of undiagnosed neurodivergence, something that's quite new for me still, and you got yourself someone very prone to losing their sense of self. I didn't really know who I was beneath it all, and a new curiosity rose up within me. No longer just wanting to explore this world, but now wanting to explore the mysterious worlds within myself. My passion for faith and spirituality, ceremony and medicine tradition, mainly from my indigenous culture, psychology, especially the branch of Carl Jung, mythology, the womb and moon connection, as well as other special interests of mine, of which I have many. This is all rooted in a desire to understand and rediscover myself. Understand this world and the creatures in it, and connect both within and with something bigger than myself. Over the years of trial, error, and much success too, I have gathered everything from mystical wisdom to practical tools that have supported me in navigating this amazing journey called life, that can also be quite challenging and painful at times. These are the light whispers I desire to share in my podcast. Okay, before we continue, maybe we can do another fun giveaway. I want some more energy up in here. Let's do some more emojis. Maybe Kai, because I'm on computer, maybe you could choose 3 emojis for us that you guys can copy, paste, and spam, or if you are on PC, you type it out. Kai, can you give us 3 emojis, please? Maybe she ascended into the ether. Perhaps Lila, you can choose 3 emojis. She's maybe floating in the pond light. There she is. Let's see what emojis she chooses. It's getting hot in here. Is the chat working for you, Kai? Maybe Lila can choose 3 emojis. Do you see it? Is it me? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Lila. Choose 3 emojis. She is crashing. It's just one of those days. She is back. Maybe she has 3 emojis for us. Isn't it typical? Exactly when you're supposed to do something. HR just want to do a little refresh. You got 3 emojis for us, girl? There we go. A lotus flower, a sun, and a leaf. Either you type it out or you copy paste and spam, spam, spam so I can choose a winner. And to not get spam locked, you can spam it a little extra and change it up every time. Okay, let me close my eyes and choose a winner. I'm gonna choose this one. Peachy Puffs herself, the first winner of 77 live loot tokens. Congratulations. Keep spamming if you want to win 77 live loot tokens. I'm gonna close my eyes again, scroll back down, and then stop. Meaner, congratulations, XX Philomena XX. I love this. This is so much fun. It brings up the energy, and I feel a little boost. All right. To continue on what you can expect in my podcast. Let's check the time first. Okay, we're good. I would like my episodes to kind of follow the natural flow of my own journey. Beginning with overcoming codependency and people-pleasing, learning how to set boundaries. Like I mentioned earlier, that's kind of where it all started, my little moment of self-awareness. Connecting to my feelings, learning to recognize them in my body and put a name to it, as many of the feelings I had no idea what even were named at that point. And also how to hold myself through them. Nurturing the sense of safety within for my inner child, and ultimately for myself as a whole. Moving into exploring likes, dislikes, desires, passions, really exploring who I am beneath all the layers of who this world wanted me to show up as. Who am I, really? What do I actually like? What do I not like? Do I know how to discern that? Is my intuition and gut instinct offline? If so, how can I plug back in and cultivate trust within myself, a sense of confidence? What are some things I was naturally drawn to as a child, and does that still align with who I am today? Do I feel purposeful, like I'm important in this world? Do I feel connected to something greater than myself? Many questions of which I asked myself a lot when I had my first glimmer of internal self-awareness. And as we continue down this path, I'll be diving into the more mysterious. The psychology teachings of Carl Jung's archetypes, dreams, myths and legends, the collective unconscious and shadow work, alchemical soul work, transforming your inner lead into gold, so to speak. Bravely diving into some dark, sometimes muddy internal waters to find the light that wants to shine through. Alchemy. Yes, a little reminder about the raffle. Our cutie bot up there is giving you reminders on how to join if you haven't already, because I really look forward to reading the answers at the end of this event. Alright, personality types like Myers-Briggs that maybe some of you know, human design, the constellations, can it assist us? Can I find ways to navigate this world with the help of this information? What wisdom can be found there? Also, did you see the new event grab? So on theme. I love it. As a woman, do I feel connected to my womb? Am I aligned with the 4 seasons I move through internally each month? Do I feel connected to the moon at all and how it affects me? The further down the road we go, the more mystical it might get. Medicine, ceremony, also cozy things like herbal healing, homeopathic medicine, plants and mushrooms, which many of you know I love. There is just so much beauty in this world created to assist us in living magical lives. These are just some of the topics I explored and would love to explore further together with you, while also weaving it together with personal storytelling. So I hope you stay with me for this journey as it all intertwines and weaves a tapestry of our soul and purpose, this complicated and stunning life and this universe. Approaching this world and ourselves holistically, finding wholeness as opposed to feeling fractured, confused, and lost. And together, hand in hand, uniting in bravery and resilience, I do believe we can achieve magical things individually as well as collectively. With my podcast, I pray it creates a ripple effect where me using my voice inspires you to use yours, as your story can quite literally move this world and change it for the better, bringing your radiance into it. Let's take a deep breath and check in with ourselves. Maybe provide ourselves with what we need. Maybe some water. Maybe a little snack. Maybe some of you, like myself, need to unclench that jaw. Drop your shoulders. Maybe roll your head in circles if your neck needs a little bit of love. Maybe uttering some kind words to yourself. Perhaps all of the above. It often starts with a simple question. What do I need in this moment to bring more presence, self-awareness, and self-love into your life? After this podcast, I definitely need some time to sit with myself in silence, listening to the soft whispers in my soul, expressing further needs and desires, gently providing that for myself. Just landing after a massive effect of what I've just allowed to flow through me, not rushing into my next task or finding a way to distract myself, like scrolling on my phone. I do that a lot. Because, this can bring a lot of things up inside of me. And I want to bring a little bit of love to it. There is so much beauty right here within ourselves. We don't need to travel the world or achieve all sorts of things this world asks of us to find magic. You really only need yourself. Okay. I have gone through my script and timed it multiple times and at least wanted to make sure it filled an hour. And I think I've gotten there, kind of. But I think we have some time to just look at some comments and interact a little bit, which I would love to do more, but I think over time maybe it's gonna be easier. First episode, you got all the nerves. I'm just trying to stick to it, you know, get hyper fixated. Talking me through my anxiety attack. I've done that with myself many times, so you know how it is. We're talking about buttermilk crispy chicken sandwich and strawberry banana smoothies over here. Hello. Posture check. Yeah, you don't want to see my posture right now. Whoops. But I do take little checks throughout the day because I sit in front of my computer quite a lot, and I take a little break and I pause and I say, maybe I should unclench that jaw. Maybe I should rub my neck a little bit. Maybe I should just do a little something. Apple pie protein shake. I'll be right over, Mina, if you got one for me. Okay, guys, we have quite the amount of winners to announce, and I am super excited. I'm going to let the raffle have a little bit of extra time. So if you haven't joined, you still have a chance to do so. I really want to read some of those, but first, we have the last 3 theme winners. I have also given my moderators wrong information. I just want to clarify again, the hashtag winner doesn't just get 77 live loot, you get 333. That is my fault. I take note. My moderators are doing an amazing job, but a little mistake is just bound to happen, and that's what keeps us humble, you know what I mean? So I receive it. I like it. You need some of that. Okay, I know it's been a lot, so let's get this quick. Let's see. I see a lot of beautiful fits in here. Pick the bush. Wait, do we have some hidden people in here? This is fun. Am I supposed to see? Oh my goodness. Cosmic. I definitely didn't see that. The sunflowers are moving. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. Isla, did I not say it at the beginning before we started? I love your outfits. All right, let's even see if my moderators were able to find the hidden people. I'm gonna go check the chat. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, the first winner of the theme is... Where's the drum rolls? Lillionaire. I've seen you around a lot and you always have amazing outfits. Congratulations. You look stunning. You fit right in. All right, we got a second winner. And it is none other than... Drum rolls. Cosmic. Do you see him? Because I didn't at first. That might just be my first pick. And then for the third winner, where's the drum rolls? I immediately forgot the name. Ayla _ Moonchild. Congratulations. The sunflowers. You all look so stunning. I love outfit contests because I love being creative, and this time I was given the opportunity to prompt you guys to be creative. That was a fun little switch for me. All right, we got more winners though. I do believe that my winner for the hashtag will be chosen by my moderators. I'll give them a little bit of time and see if I perhaps can read some of the tip jar raffle comments. Someone said, I enjoy boating. I find being on the water, but not in it, very calming. I feel that. I can be in it, but not if it's too deep. I need to see where, where I'm stepping and what's beneath me, because I start making up all these crazy monsters that don't exist, but who knows? Do we really know? We don't really know. Someone said the way that I ground myself is through meditation with rain in the background or listening to the rain. That's amazing. Sounds gorgeous. I love the sound of rain. Someone said, listening to you calms me instantly. You are too freaking cute. What helps me ground myself is listening to spa music and being surrounded by animals and my kid. Aww. Someone said I try to go near water, sit down, and think or write or draw. That sounds amazing. Alright, let's see if we have a hashtag winner. Let's see. I do not mind a double winner. Let's see here. Okay, we have a winner for the hashtag, which was announced to be 77 live loot, but correcting it, that's my bad. It's 333 live loot. Let me just double check so I'm not saying something incorrectly. No, that is correct. Drum rolls. Ken's underscore OXO. I don't even know how to say that. Congratulations. We got it. Perfect. All right. We have two more big 333 live loot winners. This time around, it's from the raffle. I think I want to make this fair. I'm not going to do the wheel. I wanted to let my moderators have as little extra work as possible so they could enjoy this room and the podcast. And for myself, I was overwhelmed enough as it was. So we're not doing a wheel, but I will be scrolling up and down, stopping and choosing the winner for the winners, two of them, for the raffle. So let me just do that real quick. You can spam some drum rolls in the chat while I scroll up and down and pause. All right. And I'm gonna stop right there. The winner is Exo.Banicoa. Congratulations. Are you still in the room? She might have left. She's still going to win. So I hope she gets that surprise. Oh, there we go. I hope she gets a little boost by that surprise. All right, one more winner. Let me scroll. Some more drum rolls, please. Scrolling. And I'm gonna stop right there. And the last winner for 333 live loot is Lillionaire. Congratulations again. And as a reminder, all the codes will be sent out after the event, so just bear with us and you'll eventually get it. We got it? Perfect. My moderators are just doing such an amazing job. I'm so grateful for Yer over here and for Feral Kai. And again, all of Nexus, especially Rex Nuggies, who's been here, giving a little bit of help, even though she's not officially quote-unquote hired. She's just extremely kind. It is you. All right, don't go anywhere. We have one more. It's for the Age of Live May bundle. One little winner for a big prize. And we're gonna let the bot choose this one. So Mr. Bot, I hope you're with me because I see how you are. Let's just go ahead and choose it. I need some drum rolls. Where is it? All right, let's see if it works. Yes, the winner is Warray. Congratulations, you won the whole Age of Live May bundle. If you already have it, let me know what you want to do with it. But if not, congratulations. All right. Looks like all is well. Before I conclude this episode, which has now come to an end, I would like to end with a song offered as a prayer. But first, I just want to say thank you for being here with me in this space in Light Whispers. May the soft echoes of what was shared today ripple gently through your spirit, guiding you where you're most ready to grow, remember, or return. I hope to see you in the next episode where, who knows what we will go deeper into. All right, see you there. Bye.